Hi, this is Sedef from ORTA. Today, our topic is denim as a change agent for bio-inspired fashion. First, I'll go through briefly what denim is, and later I'll share with you our production steps. At the very end, we'll see our current practices in terms of sustainability in denim manufacturing overall. So, what is jeans? The word itself comes from jean, a name given by French for the people of Genoa, where the cotton trousers were made in the 17th century. The denim name also comes from a fabric called serge de Nîmes, made in France, city of Nîmes, from where it originates. In the 1800s, during the gold rush, American gold miners needed strong, durable, long-lasting workwear. And they asked Levi Strauss. Levi Strauss knew the fabric from Europe, so he made a workwear for gold miners using serge de Nîmes. They were really happy about it. The performance was great. But at the very end, they said that the pockets are tearing on the stress points that while they're using. So what they have done is they've asked also another request. Jacob Davis, he was the one who invented rivets during those times, and literally he nailed small metal pins on the stress points on the jean. They got the patent in 1873 with Levi Strauss, and this is the start of the denim era in the world. Now let's have a look at the denim history. During 30s, cowboys in Western movies, they have started to wearing denim, and it created huge amount of interest. During 40s, World War II affected the industry, but at the end of 40s, the denim brands as we know today, Lee and Wrangler, merged out. 50s, denim becomes a symbol of rebellion among the youth, with movies like Marlon Brando's The Wild One and James Dean's Rebel with a Cause. 60s and 70s, brands started to use denim in various styles. In 80s, denim takes its place on podium of high fashion, with brands like Gucci and Versace. In 90s, denim as we know is here right now. From high fashion to sportswear, it was possible to find denim for each segment. We believe denim has and will always have a special handprint on culture. Denim, this cultural icon, is in transition right now. Since its inception, ORTA has been weaving a denim heritage passed from generation to generation. Today, a 65-year-old company, ORTA is producing more than 60 million meters of denim fabric with 2,500 people all around the world. Okay, let's have a look at our denim manufacturing processing steps. The production steps are really important because at each step there are opportunities that you can concentrate considering the bio-design challenge, the project itself, where you can find the subjects you really want to concentrate on. This will be a quick overview of what we're doing in-house to turn cotton into a denim fabric. The first step is, of course, the raw material. The main raw material of denim is cotton. And there are really striking facts about cotton. Cotton farming uses 3% of the total global arable land, but on the other hand, it is responsible for 24% of the insecticides and also 11% of the pesticides used globally in the world. And when you look at the life cycle of a jean, meaning when you look at the overall environmental impact of a jean starting from cotton cradle to the grave, while the end consumer decides not to use the jean anymore, you see in terms of water the highest impact comes from cotton cultivation. 65% of overall cotton usage is in the cotton farming step. Then comes the consumer care when you look at the overall life cycle assessment of a jean. So raw material is really important. We're not only using cotton as a raw material, we are using tencel, viscose, model, like regenerated cellulosic fibers like that. We're also using polymers like polyester and elastane. Those are the main raw materials we are using. But the impact of raw material is very striking. So it's important to really think about new raw materials, how we can create new raw materials. This can be mainly cellulosic ones, but also how we can recycle the synthetic fibers into the section, into the system that we're using right now. Those are the areas you should think about and create new projects. Let's start with the raw material. Our main raw material is cotton. Cotton farming uses only 3% of global arable land. On the other hand, it is responsible for 24% of the total insecticides use and also 11% of pesticides use. So in general, the effect of cotton environmentally is really striking. When you also look at the life cycle of a gene, starting from cotton till the end of the consumer use, the water impact, the water usage of a gene is really high, and 65% of this impact comes from cotton cultivation. There are other raw materials that we're using in the production of genes. Two main ones actually, the two main parts we can say. The first part is again cellulosic-based fibers like tencel, modal, viscose, and the other one is the synthetic-based fibers, mainly polyester here we use, elastane, and other types of like T400, like poly-based fibers we are using in denim manufacturing. But definitely new materials here are needed, because when you look at the statistics globally, by 2050 we will need 3 times more resources in the world than we're using, what we're using in 2000. So it's really important to concentrate on new materials here, what else we can use instead of cotton mainly, plus how we can recycle and make it circular the synthetic fibers like polyester, like elastane, how we can really put them again into the system, creating a circular economy. We turn the fiber into a yarn form through a set of processes, we call it spinning. And after spinning, we are dyeing the yarn, the warp yarns, with a dye stuff called indigo. So what is indigo? Archaeologists have traced back indigo to 5,000 years ago, which makes it still the mostly used dye stuff in today's world also. Indigo comes from a plant called Indigofera, and they make a dye stuff using that plant through a fermentation process. Here you can see the plant itself on the screen as well. The next slide, we put some Instagram accounts where they use the natural indigo to dye the fabrics. The Story MFG is also another brand. They use other kinds of vegetable dye stuffs as well besides indigo. So if you want to learn more, you can go through the Instagram accounts on the screen and see how they are using the plant and how they are dyeing the fabric into indigo. The natural indigo can be very time and labor intensive, so that's why we are not using it today. The main dye stuff we use is a synthetic based indigo. A person called Bayer actually found the synthetic indigo, and he won a Nobel Prize for chemistry with this invention. Today, 95% of the dye stuff that the industry uses is synthetic indigo. Then we weave the yarn into a fabric form, and after weaving, the final step is finishing. Here, we actually give fabric different touch or feel or appearance, what we would like to reach at the very end, through a set of processes. It can be both a chemical process and also a mechanical process in-house the factory. Here on the screen you can see several customers that we're working right now. To give you an idea, we put the labels here as well. These are the ones that we made collaborations in terms of sustainability recently. So when you check also the other brands, we're working with almost any brand that you know in the world as their denim fabric supplier. At ORTA, sustainability is a journey. Our sustainability platform, ORTA Blue, was founded in 2010 to lead manufacturers to step up in this concept, where denim really leads more aesthetics and more ethics. On the screen you can see our website and also our Instagram account. We are really sharing nice facts on our Instagram account if you follow it. You can also send questions afterwards regarding our sustainability platform if you have any during the project selection. Sustainability is a journey for us. Here on the screen you can see the timeline of sustainability for ORTA. Starting from 1993, the first step was to get Ecotech certificate, where you most probably all of you know, you see on the garments in the shop floor. At the beginning of 2000, we have started to use organic cotton. In 2007, we said that we will use 3% of our overall cotton consumption as organic cotton without even asking for an extra cost. In 2010, we formed our ORTA Blue sustainability platform. In 2013, we published our first corporate sustainability report. In 2016, we've developed our most sustainable dyeing technique called Indigo Flow. And after on, we continued to really launch different techniques to improve the performance of the fabrics in terms of sustainability. Today, sustainability is business as usual for ORTA. At ORTA, we have a 3-pillar sustainability model: product, process, and purpose. Product involves new fiber innovations and also other innovative processes that we apply in-house. Under process, we are carefully examining our water usage, energy consumption, wastewater, and other steps during the process. Under purpose, we are sharing our social missions, our HR policies, and labor standards with you. And our industry, our sustainability model is evolving every day. Here you can see a deeper version, an expanded version of our sustainability model. You can't read it, but if you have any specific question, you can send us your emails and we can explain it to you accordingly. ORTA has always been on the forefront of sustainable change, and with that mission, we celebrated our 65th year anniversary last year. And sustainability is the theme. We celebrated our future last year. We created a handprint mission, and in this handprint mission, we said, show us your handprint. And we defined that mission as, while our footprint is what we take from the planet when we consume, our handprint is what we give back to the planet when we create change for better. And at the very end, we said, show us your handprint. We have selected 5 themes, and based on these 5 themes, we shared the future facts, our current practices, and our future commitments under those 5 themes. Let's start with the first one. The first one was water. We made an event in Amsterdam, mainly around the indigo flow process, the most sustainable dyeing technique, indigo dyeing technique that we created during this event. When you have a look at the future facts for water, over the past 40 years, the world's population has doubled and use of water has quadrupled. This is very striking when you look at the fact. And since 20th century, the world has lost around 60% of its wetlands. So these 2 future facts are really striking. We definitely need to do something about the water usage. This is the process we called indigo flow. And we said this is our regular dyeing technique. We will not do it because customers ask for this technique, but we will do it because this is the right way to dye the yarn. We take this decision starting from our Spring-Summer 19 collection, and we're doing it for all new articles that we are developing as of now. And when we go back and make the calculation, you can see on the screen with Indigo Flow, we saved 20 million liters of water, which equals to 8 Olympic-sized pools between 2016 and 2019. The second theme was process. And when you look at the process, based on Ellen MacArthur Foundation's report, annually 43 million tons of chemicals are used to produce textiles. This is huge. And 20% of industrial water pollution globally is attributable to the dyeing and treatment of textiles. This is another fact. In the process, what we have done so far is we made a collaborative project with Circle Economy. It's a Netherlands-based NGO. Based on this project, we created our own waste map. The main idea here was our waste can be an input or a raw material to another industry. So the main idea was to create a platform where you can see wastes and you can decide if you can use it as an input or as a raw material in your own industry. Here is the waste map, our waste map. The reason why we are now sharing the waste map with you is this is also can be a tool for you to create circularity in our process. When you see the different wastes here, you can think about them and you can create different projects, of course using biology, how we can circulate it and reuse it in the system as an input. It may not be specifically in the process, it may be a different type of process that you can define, but it is really important to gain them or use them as a raw material. The other option might be to even create or think about the system towards a zero waste production system. So when you see the waste here, you can suggest a new way of doing the process with eliminating the waste that we are creating right now. So this tool is also the second option after raw materials. You can concentrate and find new ways of creating biodesign challenge projects. Okay, in the process we've said that we are sharing our data. We are a transparent company. When consumers ask our data, we always say, okay, we're giving the data to you. You can come to our factory. You can see our processes. We are a transparent company. The next step in transparency is the life cycle assessment. What is life cycle assessment? Life cycle assessment is a tool that we use to calculate the overall impact of a gene starting from the field, cotton, from the raw material, till the end of the life cycle. Here, of course, this is till the end of our gates, till the end of our fabric manufacturing. But it is possible to put also the garment manufacturing at the end. And if you know your consumer habits, you can also include that part as well to create the whole life cycle. But what we have done so far is we simulated our own processes in this life cycle assessment tool. And then we put the raw materials that we use, we put all the recipes, all the chemicals that we're using in the system. And right now, we know for each article, starting from the raw material till the end of the process, the overall environmental impact of the production. We've selected 5 important key metrics to really quantify it. These 5 metrics you can see on the screen. Some of them are really hard to define, but we value them because all of them are really important. The main ones that we already know is the global warming potential, the carbon dioxide footprint actually that we create during the production. The second one is the fresh water use. This is also very explicit. I don't need to explain this. The third one is the land use, the land that is used during the cotton or raw material cultivation. This is also an important factor. The fourth one is abiotic depletion. This is actually the natural resources depletion or the fossil fuel use overall while we're doing the process. What is the impact in terms of natural resource use? The very last one is eutrophication. This actually measures the nutrients that we are giving to the wastewater stream, because when you give nutrients to the wastewater, the algae on top of the water increases and they consume the oxygen in the water, which really affects the habitants in the water, which creates a bad environmental impact at the very end. So this is also a very important metric. We really wanted to highlight these and explain what these are also to the consumers and also to you as well. And what we have done in-house is actually we developed a standard denim manufacturing process, and we calculated the articles one by one that we are developing. We compared the articles that we are developing in our collection to this standard denim. We put the QR codes on each article that we produce, and when you scan the QR code, you can see the comparison under these 5 metrics to a standard denim. Here on the screen you can see how low the article itself under these 5 metrics. This is available for every article that we're producing right now, and we have started talking with brands, actually make collaborations for them to really make this data available for consumers on the shop floor when they come to buy the clothes. This is important to share the knowledge, the data, to show them the impact of their decisions when they're buying. The second concept we've developed here is light force. We put light force under process because it's not only a dyeing technique, but the fabric overall itself is pretty important to have a good laser-friendly, light-sensitive fabric at the very end. Here we re-evaluated all the problems that we have, and we created solutions one by one to really create an effective laser marking at the very end. And we called this process at light force. You can see the details, what is important when you think about lasering the fabric on the screen. This part is fairly important because this also creates a lower usage of water in the laundry stage when you wash the jeans to create a better appearance, or the appearance that you want at the very end. The third theme is energy, and here are the facts about energy. Demand for energy for heat, light, power, transportation is increasing rapidly. We all know this, but the world energy consumption will grow around 60% between 2010 and 2040. This is the future fact that we would like to share. And here, what we have done is, since we have this LCA tool in-house right now, it really created a good base for us to see the hotspots during the processes and to really concentrate on those hotspots. We also evaluated what we are doing step by step, and at the very end we saw that each step creates an impact in terms of energy usage in the system. So when you have a look at the fabrics, each fabric and also the production steps during the finishing creates an impact. For example, a rigid fabric has 3 steps. A comfort stretch fabric, meaning the fabric with an elastane in it, when you hold the fabric it really expands and comes back. This needs 4 steps. A white option, a white comfort fabric, you may think that, oh, okay, this is a white fabric, there is no dye stuff on it, this should have a less impact than a normal one, but that's not true. During the process, we have more steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps we are doing to create a white fabric. So in terms of energy usage, the white one has the highest impact when you look at the LCA results. The fourth concept is raw material. And here is the fact: the textile industry relies mostly on non-renewable resources. By 2050, I've already shared this with you, we would need 3 planets to provide natural resources needed to sustain our current lifestyles. A very important fact, a very important to need to concentrate mainly on the raw material. When you investigate the literature, when you look at it, the most reliable LCA research is done by Levi's. Based on Levi's 501 genes produced all around the world, they created an LCA study. If you enter to their website, you can download the study itself. And when you look at this study, you will see that the impact of fiber in terms of water usage is huge. Here you can see it on the screen. The fiber impact, the second highest impact comes from consumer care. That is, when you wash your jeans, how many times you wash your jeans really creates a higher impact than the fabric production itself. This fact is also very striking. And when you look at the climate change, this is actually carbon dioxide equivalent that you created during the production and also your use itself. The highest impact again comes from your washing habits. How many times, at what degree you wash your jeans really creates the impact here. And the second largest one this time comes from the fabric production. This is very important for us as well. We are concentrating mainly here how we can improve, how we can circulate the energy itself to create a lesser climate change in-house. And under the raw material theme, we said, okay, then the raw material is not good. The raw material that we use, cotton itself, is not good for the environment. So how we can change it? How we can use alternative raw materials? We said, let's not use any cotton and create a denim fabric. This was a challenge at the very beginning because cotton itself was always there. So without cotton, we can't even think about a denim fabric. But then we created a denim fabric. We called it Zero Max. And we said Zero Max is soft for you and soft-hearted for the planet, because here we're not using virgin cotton anymore. We're using other cellulosic options and sometimes recycled polyester in it. And it is very hard for you to differentiate from a distance when you see two fabrics, two jeans, one with cotton, one without cotton. When you of course touch it, the feel and touch is different. But again, it's really a nicely looking denim fabric and denim jean you will see at the very end. On the left hand side on the screen, you see the LCA results of our specific fabric, and here is the QR code. You can use your phones and scan the QR code and reach those data as well. It's open publicly. The last theme is human touch. 1 out of every 6 people work in the global fashion industry. More than 450 million people work in supply chain related jobs. This is a huge industry, and we definitely value our partners in production. Denim is a culture, and our products touch to everybody. That is why we have a great responsibility on this world. Our goal is to pioneer denim at the cutting edge of biology and design, and our commitment is circularity in every process that we do. We are rewriting denim's new story, and we ask the question, what would denim look like in a world of abundance? We believe that scarcity should be replaced by abundance that biology will create. And we invite you to take a journey with us to imagine a future where engineered materials are ecologically and logically sound. Let's move our industry from scarcity to the reality of abundance. Thank you very much.